What's up, guys? Knock here with Rocket City YGO, and today we have...
Jeremy McDaniel.
And what'd you do, man?
I got third at the Tuscaloosa Regionals. 9 rounds, 270-ish players. The biggest regional that place has ever had. So
For sure.
we did good. Did good with
skip.
the...
Right into it.
Ugh. All right, let's start with cards I barely saw all day. I don't need to explain this engine. You got to max out on everything. These cards are custom cards. Sunflower is really good. They go into really broken cards like Beast and Barkion. The engine's so small that you don't see it sometimes, and you're just playing Runick, and you're just trying to live until you see these cards. But if you play these cards with Runicks, it's really hard for you to lose. But when I saw them, they were really good in the deck. So standard NATURIA stuff. For non-engine cards, I played 3 Ash and 3 Nib. I feel like this is kind of different from what people have been doing. I think the YCS lists were showing that Evenly and Kaiju's really good. I just came to the conclusion that I was sick of watching some more mid-range decks combo and plus advantage with me having no way to interact, like Sword Soul, like Mathmech, where you don't really want to try to break their board because they've already established themselves and plussed a lot. So I wanted cards that at least interact with them, and these are a lot better to draw with the Runick cards than Evenly and Kaiju. So I just wanted to stop stuff from comboing so I could stop advantage. Good. 1 Foolish Bear Goods out of Flex Spot in this deck, and this is just good to get more consistency for the NATURIA cards. Even though, like I said, I didn't see them as much as I wanted to. Standard NATURIA or Runick engine, 17 quick plays. Slumber is unironically the best one, and then 2 Fountain. This is unironically the best one because a lot of times this is the only one you can activate when you already have something in the EMZ to trigger a Fountain and get information on your opponent's deck because it still banishes 3. And so this and also protecting Sunflower and your NATURIA monsters from battle are really good. And there was one matchup where my opponent made an XYZ and it was the only thing he had, so he goes to punch, and so instead of protecting one of my monsters, I just slumber it before it declares an attack, so it doesn't attack, and so he can't Zeus me, and so he loses the duel. And then last card was a Call by the Grave. And this is actually really good. I actually didn't use it that much, but it came up against my Mathmech match, and shut down a Sigma. So 40 card main deck, very simple. I don't think there's anything really backbreaking about it or anything special, but like I said, I didn't draw NATURIA that often, but the Runick cards are good enough if you play the deck right to draw into it and keep your opponent from beating you immediately. And so, yeah, apparently did really well. Extra deck wise, still pretty standard. 5 Runicks. This never came up. I probably should have played this better. I think a lot of people cited into Cosmic's games 2 and 3, and I should have been making this more as a way to protect the Fountain, but I didn't think about it. So maybe in the future I'll play a 3rd Hugin or a 3rd Jerry, because sometimes you need the extra names and the extra level 4 too. But these are really good cards. Jerry's a really good card. Jerry's a really good way to chain block the Fountain when you already have another Fountain in grave, and yeah, they're just really good for the deck. The unfair cards, these are amazing. Beast wins most of your matchups on its own if you can protect it, and Barkion, especially quick sinking into Barkion, can beat the trap decks when you go first when they try to set 5 and you've already locked them down, or being able to quick sink when your opponent tries to evenly you is really good when they don't think you have a way to out it because you've already baited the Baron negate or something like that. But these are really good, and plus you can bring back up Blessing. Other 6s, didn't make this too much. Coral Dragon's crazy. Coral Dragon is really good to clear. We don't have a battle phase in this deck, so any way to clear bodies or cards on the field in general is really good. Plus, always tagging out with this, well, from Baron into this to clear bodies with Baron's popping this over and over again. You kind of just win the advantage game, and then you get to remake the Baron if you have another NATURIA. And then the 10s. Baron's obviously amazing. It's my favorite card in the extra deck, but this is so good. When you're out of NATURIA, but you've stuck this on field and you're playing just pure Runick, you can't lose the duel. Your Runicks are always triggering this. There's so many cards banished that your monsters or your opponent's monsters are always at 0. This thing's huge, and you're gonna deck them out, and not in a slow way either. It's just that you're gonna win the grind game, and this card's just really good. And then 1 Link Donner. I could have played another Donner, honestly, but it's the good Link too. It does what it needs to do. And then the last 3 is the XYZs. Dugars was good. Baguska was good against Cash when I got shifted. I never made this, but it got hit by Cash a lot, so it's not really my fault. Dugars was the best flex spot for this because either you did the draw 2, or a lot of times my Baron would be in graveyard, so using this to reborn Baron, even if you are skipping your main phase, is really, really good. And there's that. And then for side deck, shout out to Jordan for telling me to play these last minute. This saved my regional. I don't have a good Mathmech matchup unless I have these in the side. And these are meant for stuff like Sprites, Mathmech, and if I ever play any branded or, Bestial Dragon decks. But this came up against Live Twin and made the matchup really easy. This made Mathmech really easy. And they're just big bodies which is something that the deck doesn't have, so it helps you clear stuff. It's a 6, so Camellia synchroing into this for a free Baron is really good, and you get to clear stuff. Plus, if you play the mirror match, if your opponent knows to make Nat Beast because they know you're a spell deck, if you banish their Hugins to stick this, so you know that they can't just end on Nat Beast because you can punch over it, it helps a lot. But that never happened. So deck there. 3 Cosmic. It was good. For any backroom match I need to, came up against the Trap Trick matchup, and it was it's just something you need in the extra deck or the side deck for back removal, just more so than just destruction. Dark Ruler, this was really good. If I played any Sprite, this probably would have been amazing. I just didn't play any Sprites, and this came up against the cash matchups, so if they just end on a Rise Heart, it sometimes takes too much to just try to out it with RUNICK cards, because you may have to dig too far into it and your other stuff gets banished, but this was really good. This was just a way for us to get up in card advantage, because if your opponent has 4 monsters and only takes 1 to get rid of, you can use all your other 5 spells to outgrind your opponent. 1 Change of Heart, I didn't see it, but I had a 15 spot, and so if I did see it, I'm sure it would have been really good. And then finally, this card's crazy. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. It won me my round 3 against Cash Punk because we were low on time. I think it was 8 minutes left. He had no way to punch with anything meaningful because he was basically a synchro deck, and he was paying life points with Punk. And so I just had to hold on this card when I bricked, because this is what this deck does a lot. And so I could eventually just sit on this until I drew my way out of it into NATURIA engine. But the matchups this is good against, it's great for. It's for brand, it's for cash. It's just Mystic Mine. But yeah, I was really happy with the side deck.
Well, before we close, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the Deep, our locals. Always a great place to play, test, great community. Shout out to everyone I tested with. Chase behind the camera, Clay, Chase Coffin, everyone from Rocket City, Wygo, all the team, everything. Jalen, let me borrow a lot of the cards. And yeah, my whole testing center. So I really appreciate it.
All right, well, appreciate it, man.